Hello everyone, welcome to the first day of the class. My name is Frank Asamoah and I'm truly excited to welcome you to Chanel Academy's GRC's Masterclass. I bring over a decade of combined experience in cybersecurity governance, risk and compliance, threat intelligence, vulnerability management, security operations, and a host of others in cybersecurity, having served in various leadership and analyst roles across sectors including finance, utilities, and technology. Academically, I hold an MBA, an MS, and an MA, and I've complemented my education with several industry-recognized certifications such as the CH, CISM, CISA, and a host of CompTIA's industry certifications. I'm also honored to be recognized as a certified CompTIA instructor and a proud recipient of CEH Hall of Fame in 2025. Beyond my corporate work, I am the author of The Roadmap to Becoming a SOC Analyst, a guide designed to help aspiring cybersecurity professionals navigate the path towards success in security operations. And for over 7 years, I've had the privilege of teaching and mentoring students in cybersecurity, helping them bridge the gap between theory and practice through structured hands-on learning experiences. In addition, I've had the opportunity to speak at several international conferences, sharing insights on topics ranging from risk management to emerging cyber threats and workforce development. And at Chanel Academy, my mission is to ensure that each of you not only understand the principles of GRC, but learn how to apply them strategically in real-world environments. And this masterclass will challenge you to think like a security leader, balancing governance, risk, and compliance with business objectives. Welcome once again to the GRC Masterclass, and I look forward to an engaging and transformative learning journey with you. This course is divided into several sections, and we begin with Module 1, that is IT and Cybersecurity Principles. Under IT and Cybersecurity Principles, we dive into the meaning of cybersecurity. Cybersecurity has been in existence for a while, and to me, if I'm being asked the real definition for cybersecurity, there is no single definition for cybersecurity. So think of it as protecting systems. Protecting systems, which includes networks, computers, applications, data, and a host of others from digital threats. So the protection of digital assets, networks, programs, data, and others from digital threats is described as cybersecurity. You can come from different angles, but the real deal here is the protection of digital assets, right? So it covers practices and processes and technologies to secure integrity, confidentiality, and availability. That is the CIA. CIA is the core matrix for cybersecurity. CIA. Remember this because we're going to be touching on it in several aspects during the program. CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. All right, so what's confidentiality? Ensuring information is only accessible to authorized users. Confidentiality, ensuring information is only accessible to authorized users. For example, you open a bank account and you are given an ID and you will have the option to create your password, or you have the ability to create your own password. The password and the username is you are the only person who knows the information. You are free to change your password anytime, and sometimes you are even allowed to also even change your username, right? So this is very confidential to you and no other person besides you, unless you decide to give it out. But this is supposed to be confidential to you only. And there are several other authentication mechanisms that we're going to be diving into in the subsequent sections, right? And integrity is the act of protecting accuracy and completeness of data, right? So anything that alters data from it being complete tarnishes the integrity of that particular data or that particular asset. For example, in case an attacker an attacker orchestrates a malware to attack, for example, a website, and by attacking an e-commerce website, for example, they are able to change some of the information over there. Like, let's cite an example. Maybe an attacker gets into a system and the price of maybe a notebook costs like $1,200. So for the attacker to be able to purchase or maybe purchase that particular software or particular notebook, the attacker decides to get into the system, change the value or the true price of the system. Let's assume they change it to, let's say, $10. And instead of them paying $1,200, they go for $10. Will go for it at a fee of $10. In that case, they have compromised the integrity because they went in to change some values or something that tarnished the original nature or the original state of the particular data or information. So that is integrity. So anything that compromises the true identity or the true value of something, an asset, data, is also termed as integrity, right? And availability is ensuring reliable access to information and resources. Have you guys heard of ransomware? Ransomware is very popular in day in, day out. Ransomware, attackers are orchestrating ransomware to hit their victims. Day in, day out, companies are paying huge sums of money to the orchestrators or these hackers. And for example, in case an attacker compromises your environment using a ransomware attack, here they try to pause your environment. Your systems can be in a halt, because at that point in time, you are not allowed to access your network. You are not allowed to access your data. And that is a ransomware attack, and it can lead to you not having your data being available. So normally they will put a password on, they will encrypt your data and put a password on it. And after putting the password, they will send you an information, or they send you a request for you to send some money, also transfer some funds to them before they are able to release the data for you. Some companies have been successful trying to retrieve their data, but most companies have not been able to do that. So ransomware is one of the most severe attacks that no company prays that it happened to them. And we're going to be diving into several aspects of cybersecurity to give you more insight into the CIA. All right, so let's move to the next part. Why is cybersecurity important? Because we're talking about the whole bars, cybersecurity, the act of protecting digital assets, networks, data, and a host of others, right? So that is cybersecurity. So what do we gain when we impact or when we protect systems or we secure an environment? One, protects personal and business data, maintains privacy, ensures operational continuity. So for example, with operational continuity, should a ransomware attack impact your environment, no other organization comes at a halt. So no one will be able to access the data, right? So by ensuring that businesses stays operational, it's a good thing that should ever happen to every company, and every company should aspire to that. So with the protection of personal information, business data, this is also good because for a bank, let's use a bank or a financial institution as an example, should they have a data breach, data breaches could cost companies millions to billions of dollars, of US dollars. And it is on every company is responsible, or organizations are responsible to make sure that their customers' data are well, and business data are well secured and maintained against or from these hackers. There have been a couple of industry breaches. For example, there's this Equifax data breach that occurred not too long ago. Let me see if I can pull that to you guys. Equifax, I believe you guys know about Equifax. They were breached, and this breach alone, attackers were able to compromise all their customers' data. And this breach alone, they spent over $700 million after in settlement when it went to court. And this is the link that users or their victims were able to come here to send or request claims for being attacked during the breach. So companies pay hefty fines or hefty costs when they get attacked or when their data get breached. And that is why we're going to train you. That is the reason why we're going to train you to equip you with all the necessary information, data, and skills to be able to secure your future information or your future institution or company. All right. It ensures for safeguarding critical sectors like healthcare, finance, and government. For example, I work in the utility industry, and information is very critical, and therefore various information and systems, we work with critical systems, and these systems, we can't bear the cost of having a utility company being shut down. And for example, should we not be able to provide electricity to our customers, we might lose customers, we might lose all our customers, we might lose the trust. Besides losing them, you might lose the trust, and you can even get sued or get fined by these customers. So it is essential to safeguard critical sectors like healthcare, finance, government, and a host of industries. So these are some good importance, or some very important areas, or the importance of cybersecurity in our area. But there are different benefits of having cybersecurity or maintaining cybersecurity. All right. I think I'm a little bit too fast. Let me slow down. All right, cybersecurity challenges. What are some of the challenges to cybersecurity? Evolving threats, day in and day out. Attacks are becoming very sophisticated, and host of now with AI and others. AI has really propagated a lot of attacks. With AI, attackers are able to carry or plan well, especially when it comes to the area of social engineering. At first, one of the common characteristics of efficient attack was that you could find some typos, grammatical errors, and other stuff. But now they can use LLMs like ChatGPT, Perplexity, and a host of these generative AI tools to create or draft a really good really good message or email without any grammatical error. So grammatical error free, right? And they are very difficult for our users, or for users to be able to spot these kind of fake by these attackers. So evolving threats, there is this website called Threat Heat Map. I would like to share that with you. Threat Heat Map by Checkpoint. One second. And this is the Threat Heat Map from Checkpoint. And this is the data for the daily threats that are happening, occurrences of threats. As you can see on my screen, this was put on the 2nd of November 2025. And as at now, it's around 7:44 p.m. Eastern Time. And today is a Sunday, and on this day, there have been over 3 million attacks. There have been over 3 million attacks, close to 4 million attacks, right? And you can see the countries, click around to see the countries where these attacks are emanating from. You can see one attack from Russia, coming this way from the United States, and a host of others. So attacks are becoming very sophisticated, and companies need people like you to be trained in that area to be able to help secure or defend your company, your future organization against these form of threat actors. So on the left, you can see on my screen the top targeted countries. You can see Indonesia, Nepal, Vietnam, Mongolia, and others. And these countries have the highest rates of attacks per organization per day, as of today, right? And these are the industries that are being targeted. They are targeting education sector, utilities, and telecommunications. And also, you can see that the top malware types that are being used here are mobile, hardware, and phishing. As I earlier stated, we're going to dive deeper into the meaning of hardware, phishing, and all those stuff in the subsequent sections. And these are the data for recent daily attacks. So you can see on 2nd October, and this is the data. You can scroll through to find out these occurrences, the cumulative value of attacks on each day, right? And the attacks are still They are still doing their stuff. You can see some arrows and other stuff moving back and forth, the yellow, the amber, and also the red colors, showing attacks and depicting attacks and a host of others. So the website, the URL for this is threatheatmap.checkpoint.com, and you're gonna find this in your slide or on the LMS. The links are all on the LMS, so you can also collect to find out the number of threats on the day that you're watching this video. All right, so evolving threats, human error. Employees may unintentionally compromise security. For example, should an attacker send an email, a phishing email to maybe that is able to beat your organizational defenses, and your employee clicks on it unknowingly or unintentionally clicks on it, these attacks could carry some these emails could accompany some malwares and a host of security stuff. So it can be unintentional from the employee part, and this is the reason why companies do offer frequent security awareness training in order to educate their employees on the latest or the attacks or threats actors, about the threat actors, the type of attacks that they are carrying, and a host of others, to educate them on how to properly conduct themselves should they see such emails or information online. And not only limited to phishing campaigns or others phishing emails, but there are several ways where that human beings can unintentionally compromise security, right? And we're going to be diving deeper into most of them. Increased attack surface. Before, like 5-10 years ago, there was nothing like IoT was there, but it was not that predominant. Cloud computing was not that really predominant, but now there's cloud computing, there's IoT, and IoT here is Internet of Things. What is Internet of Things? Do you know what? All right, so let me get to your homes. Think of an Alexa in your home. Think of Google, the Google smart device that you have in your home. Your smart refrigerator, your smart TV, and all these are categorized under IoT, that is Internet of Things, and we are going to dive into it in the subsequent sections. And cloud computing includes the cloud computing, and there are three popular cloud providers: the Amazon Web Services, that is AWS. There is Google Cloud Services, and there's Microsoft Azure, right? And these are cloud providers, and there are numerous cloud providers like IBM, Oracle, Ali Cloud, and so on and so forth. But these are the three most popular ones, that is AWS by Amazon, Google Cloud, and also Microsoft Azure Services. And with these IoT, cloud computing, and now AI and a host of others all in our environment, increases our attack surface. So now there are many points that we need to cover. There are many loopholes that companies need to protect. And this has increased the attack surface. And that is the main reason why the security industry needs more professionals like you to help protect or secure their environment. And cyber warfare and espionage, we're going to be diving into the different threat actors, their motive, and a host of others. So in the subsequent sessions, it's going to be very interesting, right? So cyber warfare and espionage, so nation-state attacks for intelligence. So there are a couple of cyber warfare, espionage, like this, companies spying on different companies, and also countries trying to spy on a different country for national security reasons and others. So, now in this world where there are different kind of global, I don't want to go there, but what's happening in Ukraine, Russia, the United States and America, and Israel, and a host of others, Iran, there's a lot going on. And all these are some of the challenges in our area of cybersecurity. Okay, I know you might not be able to ask questions because this is an asynchronous stuff, but feel free to send me an email. You guys will have my email in the LMS. You can send me an email. You have like kind of challenges in comprehending to some of the things that I said here, or you can also ask me those questions when we meet in class in the next sections, right? So let's move to the next part. Core areas of cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is very broad. a host of areas that falls under cybersecurity. But the core area that we will be touching on today is network security, application security, information security, cloud security, IAM, or identity and access management, and disaster recovery. We are going to be diving into it one by one. So let's move on to network security. Think of a network. What is a network, right? Now, these days, like modern world, you can sit in the comfort of your home and connect to a computer in any country, right? You are able to work from home. In the future, should you get employed, get a job in cybersecurity or whatever field that you are, some professionals, some professions allow them to work from home. You're able to sit in your home and type google.com and something pops up on your screen. All these are made possible by networks. So these networks, because the network, for example, the internet is also the bigger network, the broader network. The internet is a public-facing network. We have different types of networks. We have public networks, private networks. Just take your time, right? You're going to be diving into them. Okay, and this is still introduction to cybersecurity, right? I hope you find it interesting. Okay, so with networks, that is giving us the ability to connect and share resources together. So in a workplace, maybe 10 users, 20 users are able to connect together, share resources, and even share some devices, including printers and others. So you can sit on your desktop and type and print a file or print a document, and boom, it goes to that printer in the corner. Your friend or colleague can also click on the button to print something, and boom, it goes to that printer on the corner, right? And all these are made possible with network or networking, right? So these networks needs to be secured, because now it's not a one-man person, it's not a one-company person, but now, for example, the internet that connects all the different computers in the world, the different networks in the world, that allows us to share data across different sectors, right? So because it has gone public, it needs to be protected. It needs to be secured, and there are different devices that helps us secure networks. We have okay. So we have firewalls, intrusion detection systems, and access controls. We're gonna be touching on the bolts and nuts of all these devices. So keep your cool, and let's get to the next section. Application security. So application security secures web applications to protect data, and secure coding, vulnerability assessment, and software updates, right? Think of you going on your phone, you open your bank app. I believe that you have a bank account, because that is how come you were able to pay for this class, right? So you log into your Chase bank account, you log in to your Wells Fargo, whatever bank that you're using, right? You log in there, and you open that application, log into your account, and you're able to send money to your mom, your brother, or whoever that you wanted to send money from. And that money was deducted from your bank account. See how beautiful applications help us to navigate some areas in our life, right? But this software doesn't stand aloof, doesn't sit aloof. It is being accompanied by some security processes, or it is being protected or shielded by some security tools and some cybersecurity concepts here. So in cybersecurity, you are going to be trained on how, on GRC, you might not be going to that technical route, but cybersecurity in general, we are trained on how to properly secure these kind of programs or applications. And we have something called secure coding, how to properly code or securely code, because not every code is secured, right? So think of a coding language, think of Python, right? I believe you've heard of Python, you've heard of Java, you've heard of C++, you may have heard of C++, there is PHP, there are a host of programming languages, but you need to code right. And a security team is there to make sure that the application programmers or the software engineers are doing their things right. So we do security testing and build a framework for them to build secure codes to the environment. Vulnerability assessment, we will be having a special chapter on vulnerability assessment, right? So what is a vulnerability? Think of it. All right, let me give you some few seconds. 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Right. So what was your guess? What is vulnerability assessment? So let's pick the word vulnerability. So vulnerability in a system is a loophole or a flaw in a system. A loophole or a flaw in a system. So when there's a loophole, it can be an opening port. It can be a system not properly updated or not having the latest patch or update. It can be different things or different aspects, right? And these are vulnerabilities, and we do carry vulnerability assessment, and through vulnerability assessments, we are able to find out or figure out or fish those loopholes in system. So we do vulnerability assessment in applications. So when they build, the programmers build the applications, there are vulnerability assessments, software updates, and a host of others. So in your iPhone or your Android phone that you're using, sometimes you might receive that you need to update your phone, right? You update the latest iOS, update the latest Windows version, and all these updates do carry most of them do carry security features to improve the security posture of your phone or whatever system that you are using. Right. Information security on the next part. Information security, here we ensure that CIA, as we already mentioned, CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability, right? And the techniques that we do use in information security includes data encryption, access control, and data masking. There is more to this that we're going to be diving into. So let me move on here and have a special topic that we're going to dive into: data encryption, access control, and data masking. Cloud security. We've already talked about the cloud, right? So protecting cloud-based infrastructure, applications, and data. So how do we do that? How do we protect cloud data? We do protect cloud data through data encryption, access controls, and IAM, or identity management. We're going to be touching all these bottlenecks in cybersecurity. So just hold on and you'll be getting there, okay? All right. So IAM, that is identity and access management. We are going to be diving into this, as I already said. So controls access to resource based on identity. And what's an identity? It can be you, an account, a user on a system. So you as a user may be Noble, Asante, or whatever name that you have, right? You are the identity. And you are being identified, with a password and also a username. And you might have maybe a different, an MFA, we can have an Okta, can use Okta or Microsoft Authenticator, or maybe authentication keys or security keys like YubiKey. Let me show you YubiKey. YubiKey, let me 1 second. You can get this key online and it's not that expensive. You can get one to secure your environment. This can secure your email, your banks, your social media stuff. And this is kind of a hardware device. And a hardware device, only you is going to have this document. So no matter how somebody tries to get into your system without this device, they might not be able to get into your system. So you'll be talking more about that YubiKey. I'm not trying to advertise for them, but it's a good tool to use to secure your environment. There's one also called Google Titan, and I think that is a little bit less expensive. Google Titan security key, and you can also go for this. But in case you need more information, feel free to reach out and I can give you more context to that. This is just $35 and you're going to get a security key to protect your data. Right. So identity and access management. How are the techniques that we do use to secure our systems? We do use multi-factor authentication, right? I believe that in your Google account, you have a multi-factor authentication. So anytime you are signing in, sometimes they send you a notification to your phone for you to confirm. Sometimes you have been given some numbers, you have been given some code to enter into it, right? Okay, good. So you're already using MFA or multi-factor authentication. There are different techniques called role-based access control and a host of others. In the subsequent sections, we are going to dive into each of them. Disaster recovery and business continuity. So just hold on, right? Let's assume your company is being attacked with a ransomware. Attackers have attacked or compromised your data. They've encrypted your business database, and therefore your company is unable to access that data. They've put a password or a code on it, and they are requesting your company to pay a ransom, pay some money before you have access. Should this happen to you or your company, what is their plan B? Should your company be flooded, maybe your data center gets flooded, everything just gets wiped out, or fire outbreak, how do your company get back to business? So think of it that way, right? So data recovery or disaster recovery and business continuity. Here, it ensures continuity of critical functions after a cyber incident. So should something happen, we need to be able to ensure that your company is still moving on, doing business as usual, right? So what are some of the techniques that we do use? We do backup and recovery plans, incident response strategies, a host of others. So just take it easy, you're going to be getting there. All right. So common cybersecurity threats. I've been mentioning of malware, phishing, denial of service, SQL injection, and a host of others. We are going to be touching on these one by one in our next few slides. So there are a host of cybersecurity threats, and there is malware, phishing, denial of service attacks, SQL, or structured query language injection, and man-in-the-middle attacks. You're going to be getting into all of these stuff. Cybersecurity best practices. What are some of the best practices in cybersecurity? Right. For one, you can implement strong authentication, strong password policies. So instead of typing your date of birth or using your date of birth or using your surname or using something very simple as your password, there can be a policy that will require you to have an alphanumeric with special character based password. So your password is required to have alphanumeric, so with numbers and alphabets. And sometimes they even require you to add symbols like the $sign, the pound sign, and others in your password, in creating your password. And a password policy can enforce users to change their passwords after every 60 days or every 90 or 120 days. That can be a password policy. And all these help us secure our environment. So that's a cybersecurity best practice. Use of multi-factor authentication. So not only using your username and password, but rather having different factors of authentication like biometrics. You can use your biometric to sign in, your facial biometric, your fingerprint, your voice, gate system, a host of there are different types of biometric technology. And we might be touching on that in the course of the program. So multi-factor authentication, you can use a security key like the YubiKey and Google Titan that I just showed you guys, and different stuff, right? Regular update and patching of your systems. Systems gets, as we use our system, day and day, our attackers are trying every way to get into it. Attackers are trying always to find the loopholes to get into our environment. So companies or institutions are also in the same trade with them, right? And they are in a different trade. They're similar but different, right? So this is the difference. So as attackers are trying to punch holes into a system, businesses, organizations are also finding ways to tighten their security. So should they see how do they do that? How do companies find ways how do companies identify their loopholes? They can identify their loopholes by doing penetration testing. So by conducting penetration testing, they're able to see, okay, there's a loophole here, there's a loophole there, right? Then let's build a patch or let's build an update to secure that hole, right? There are different ways that companies are able to get to know their loopholes. For example, there's something called bug bounty. Let me show you. Companies introduce bug bounty. Okay, a bug bounty invites hackers. Not every hacker, but an ethical hacker. So hackers to hack the environment. So let me type bug bounty. So a bug bounty program is offered by companies that rewards individuals for finding and reporting security software bugs and security vulnerabilities. And participants can earn financial rewards and recognition by submitting detailed reports, which companies then use to fix issues and improve their security through patches and security updates. So here they invite hackers to come to the environment. Come hackers, but should you find any flaw in our environment, do not cause us harm, right? Rather, give us the detail of your findings, and by giving us that, we are going to pay you for that attempt or for that effort that you did. So regular updates and patching of systems, best security practices, conducting of security awareness training, and in the end of this model, you are going to be tasked to create or design a security awareness training for your future company. And it's going to be a hands-on project work for you in the course of the program, and that's going to be at the end of Module 1. Backup data regularly. So the habit of backing up your data so that should you lose something, you could be able to get it on the other side or on a different system for you to get your business back on track should you get attacked. Right. So there are some case studies. So go online, type the Equifax data breach, and by doing that, you're going to learn about the importance of patch management, WannaCry ransomware attack, and Sony Pictures hack. Just go and read this stuff. And the links have also been attached in the LMS. But go online, read about these attacks. We're going to talk about them in a different section. So the WannaCry ransomware attack and Sony Pictures hack. Go read about them and give me feedback in your in our next meeting, or you can send me an email, shoot me an email on your findings on that. And there are some assignments that have been mapped to this as well. All right, so cybersecurity assignments, research and analyze. 1, for a cyber threat analysis, I want you guys to research and analyze a recent cyber attack. So just go online, type the recent cyber attacks, and write a report on that and send it to us. Phishing simulation, develop a phishing awareness campaign. This is going to be at the end of the model. Every student will be required to do that. And it's going to count towards your graduation or completeness of the program. Design a cybersecurity policy. Create a policy for a fictitious company. I know you are very young. We're trying to walk you, giving you some baby steps in the field of cybersecurity. But from what you've learned so far, we want you to design a policy, right? And by designing the policy, let me give you some clues. At least you can use this as a cheat code, some of the cybersecurity best practices, right? Your policy can align with this. So design a policy for any fictitious company, and there's going to be a group project, incident response plan for a specified threat. This is going to be required to you in the next few from you in the subsequent modules. Thank you very much for this insightful first day journey, right? Module 1, Introduction to Cybersecurity. Thank you for being part of us and watching this to the end. See you in the next slide. Thank you. Bye-bye.